truth. To mark the auspicious beginning of NCPS 2020-25, I request our dignitaries to please. Vanity Fair stock, profit from the last month, Eastern Africa.
Obviously, what's really important for us to recognise is the pace of change in Antarctica is accelerating. And that change means loss of ice, more rapid loss of ice, which of course means changes in sea level around the world, but it also means changes to ocean circulation, changes to atmospheric circulation, and the impacts of those changes on iconic Antarctic species such as penguins, but also further into the terrestrial environment, looking at nematodes and things that live in the soil. So the changes are quite impactful, they are more rapid than we expect, and it really is time to pay attention to what we might do about it and how we might respond and not just mitigate, but actually how we might now adapt to some of those changes that are inevitable.
SCAR is at the center of research, regarding global warming, the interaction between the atmosphere and the ocean. So, how do you see your role evolving, even as communities are sometimes skeptical, sometimes alarmed? How do you see your role in this?
So SCAR is certainly involved in helping lead the scientific programs in the Antarctic and bring the 46 member nations of SCAR together to work collectively, but it's also equally involved in helping ensure that information, that research information is available for policymakers and for people to understand and adapt to. The changes are now being observed in Antarctica, so we know that the changes are happening. They're measured and we can see them. So the challenge for us now is in how we respond to them and what we do about it. And SCAR is partly helping to do that with policymakers through the Antarctic Treaty Consultative Meeting, but also with its messaging out more broadly through programs like this, the NCPOR here in India, but also this meeting, and how we get the messages out from the research here in India that's contributing as well.
What do you see as some of the more immediate impacts? You already said we have reached the 1.5 above average since 1950. So what do you see as some of the more immediate impacts of this global warming?
So it's a little bit insidious. So these changes are happening quite slowly, but quite progressively. That change is now accelerating. We're now at 4.5 millimetres of change in sea level rise per year. That may seem like a small amount, but that's accelerating, and it's year upon year upon year. So it's really starting to affect some of the coastal regions, as are the changes in local weather patterns because of that change in heat from the oceans and the change in the atmospheric circulation. In terms of the treaty members, they are looking now at the impacts on iconic species such as emperor penguins that are losing their habitat because of it. So those are changes we can now see.
The conference on polar science essentially was originally, the idea came to, have a network within the country, within India, actually to involve all young scientists as well as the middle level as well as senior scientists together to have a potential collaborations among the institutions within the country, as well as think about strategies and ideas for doing science in a better way. I think we do it every 2 years, and this has provided nearly more than 300 people are participating in it. And we also yesterday we had a very enthusiastic young project, polar scientist meeting. So this altogether actually provides an impetus to actually how, as the globe is changing and so is the polar regions, how will ultimately we will, how do we understand them better? Thank you.
Thank you.